I love the way I've turned out. I love all the crazy things that have happened to me. Several things I'm really excited about. I'm very excited about studying some of the things in college, like history and media studies. I'm also thinking of doing graphic design. I would like to get married and have a family. Not right now. There's a few things I have to do first. I know that being autistic was part of my past, but I look at it as a true gift. I see that if I can do something so incredible as to reach out from an unreachable place, I can reach anywhere I want. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
This is it. No, please. What do you want? Tell me what you want. You really want that one. Okay, let's get him reading the book.
I had been, at that point, diagnosed with autism, the whole 9 yards.
I only pray that it's not.
They said I was mentally retarded. I would never talk to anybody again. It would be unlikely I would ever communicate, things like that. I remember that I did many things to calm myself down. Like, for example, when I was in a mood where I was very uncomfortable, I would look at the sparkling motion of the raindrops, and that would give me a hopeful feeling. I remember always liking things that were shiny when I was autistic. I remember loving bubbles, water, reflections, anything that was transparent fascinated me and always kept me mesmerized. I loved mirrors. I loved looking at myself, very much so. It wasn't until we started our own custom practice based off the Sunrise program, and we had our own custom playroom, that I really began to remember opening up and gaining memories. And I remember opening up very slowly, but I remember feeling that there was some kind of connection beginning. Some of our very best friends came throughout my life, came at this moment as strangers and started working with me. And I remember all kinds of people. And somehow, I think someone named Shelley Marcus, who was very close to us, had anchored me somehow. And I think that's the first time I really started reconnecting with people. And I felt there was a warm presence in that room.
Yeah. Wow. You are so good at that. You are amazing.
Everyone seemed to let go when they did this process with me.
Over.
I felt loved. I felt very loved during the process of the Sunrise program. I just needed to reconnect with someone who cared about me. It was just pure love. It was just clarity and connection.
Hi!
I have recovered from what many people said was unrecoverable. The length that my parents did the Sunrise program with me was at least 2 to 3 years. It is a commitment. I know that being autistic was part of my past, but I look at it as a true gift. It is to find the type of hope I have for anything I want to do and for anything anybody else wants to do. It connects me to that. It's to find my goals, because I see that if I can do something so incredible as to reach out from an unreachable place, I can reach anywhere I want. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It really is. It's beautiful. I couldn't recommend any other place to bring your kid if they're autistic than this place. It is a place that is filled with passion, with love, with understanding, with revolutionary ideas that will change not just how you help your child, but how you help yourself. There's no other way that feels so loving and so connected.
Our next magazine story is about courage, understanding, and a fierce will to live a normal life. It's the story of Ron Kaufman, diagnosed as a young child with autism, the developmental disability that medical science is constantly struggling to understand.
When I was little, there was less than 1 in 10,000 children with autism and on the autism spectrum. Now, the common statistic recited is there's 1 in 150. I just read that in Newsweek. And that's in the last decade, and even more so in the last 5 years, there's been a tremendous explosion. It's really become an epidemic. At a young age, I was diagnosed as severely autistic. I actually had a tested IQ of below 30. And what I would do is I would spend my days spinning plates, rocking back and forth, flapping my hands, and other repetitive, exclusive type behaviors like that. I was really in every way in my own world. I had no language, no communication whatsoever. And my parents were told, look, we're really sorry, he has severe autism. This is how he is, and this is really how he's going to be for the rest of his life. They took me home, and they developed their own home-based, child-centered program where they worked with me for a little over 3 years.
We actually valued Ron as our teacher and literally joined him in his world. And little by little, that little boy slowly let us in.
This child went from having absolutely no connection with anybody to a very outgoing, very talkative, very gregarious, considered to have a near genius IQ, and there are no signs about Ron where you would have any idea of his past.
Maybe I could find out how and why.
I see. Would you like to know how and why?
Yes, yes, yes.
I don't want to say, everything, but I just really like to have a girlfriend at this point, and I don't.
I really recovered completely from my autism, without any trace of my former condition, and went on to, live a typical life and go to school and have friends and have girlfriends and go on dates and do the whole thing. And then ultimately went on to graduate from Brown University with a degree in biomedical ethics. After my recovery, my father, who's an author, Barry Neil Kaufman, he wrote the book Sunrise, The Miracle Continues, and that detailed my story. And that book in 1979 was turned into a television movie, and that was seen by millions of people around the globe.
Where do you go? Where?
It was a real trip, and I was 6 or 7 years old, and I'm watching this little kid play me and these actors play my parents. Ultimately, people started coming to my parents and asking, how can we use these principles and strategies with our own children? In the BBC documentary, I Want My Little Boy Back, Jordan, who's the little boy in that, he was really able to take that and run with it. It was amazing.
I think it must be so lonely for him, not able to communicate. I think it must be frightening for a little boy to be sort of locked away.
He reacts in the same way, and we don't know what he wants. He could go on like this for 10 minutes or 2 hours. Oh, it's really distressing.
He's never been able to do anything for himself.
Just need to be tough enough.
Jordan had never seen a microwave before they came to America.
What you're seeing is really an example of these children have incredible talent and are incredibly intelligent and can pick up a lot of this stuff that we might think is beyond them if we only get them interested and engaged in our world.
When I was like autistic, I used to like hide in the couch because we had this big sofa, and it was like, and it felt really nice because when you jump into it, there was like, it felt like it was sort of pitch black. So, and also what I liked to do was spin sticks. I used to spin them all the time.
Kyle spent a fair amount of time, probably 30%, 40% of his day, immersed in the cushions of our couch. It'd be the first thing he did when he got up in the morning, and we would pull him out of there at night to help put him to bed. We had no idea what was going on with Kyle. We couldn't decide if it was behavior problems, if we were doing something wrong. We just couldn't seem to connect with this child the way we did with our first child.
Many of the children that we work with who are on the autism spectrum are highly, what you might call, overstimulated. It's like they're in a mall all day. So because of that, we have something called the Sunrise Program Playroom.
They built this room, and I played inside the room basically all day.
This room is a room where there's no control battles, where we're not saying, hey, stop, don't do that, I asked you not to do that. We're really saying, hey, this is your room. We find that this playroom is really, really key.
We went to Sheffield, Massachusetts, and we were with an incredible group of people. We were with 40 other parents of children with autism, Asperger's, ADD, from severe autism to moderate autism, which is how we would describe Kyle's diagnosis. And all these people shared a common hope and belief in their children, and a lot of fear and frustration and anxiety over what to do. The program wasn't just about Kyle. It asked a lot of us. We had to get onto his level. I had to get on the floor and play with him. Once we started the program, within a matter of months, we could see him start to react to us, start to look at us.
He started to hug us, tell us he loved us, things that he had never been able to do before.
Then he started to communicate with us. Then he started to show interest in friends, playing games, didn't have to win every game, didn't have to spin his sticks, didn't have to climb under blankets, didn't have to climb under the couch. And within a couple years, it became evident that he was going to become a fully normal kid.
Ultimately, autism is, the way we see it, is really an interactional disorder, a disorder of relationships. These children have difficulty creating connections and relationships with the people around them. Me and Kyle Westfall are just examples of what these children are capable of.
Now, I get to do a whole bunch of things. I have my own room, and I'm just like, I'm free. I'm done.
Not all of these children are going to turn out like me, which, by the way, is absolutely true. Every child is different. We don't make promises. With that said, I still don't get the whole false hope message. I just don't get it. I don't get who decided that a life sentence was better than an outstretched hand and an open door.
You have to deal with it. And you have to do a bunch of things, even though you don't want to, you just have to deal with it. And soon enough, it turns like, hey, I'm normal now. And so I listened, and I got through a bunch of stuff, and here I am.
And if you want more information about the Sunrise program, you can visit the website at www.sunrise.org.
There are kids all over the world who get autism. We can just help them by dealing with it. I would like the people to encourage parents to be with their child more and to just play with them because they're with them, someone that understands them.
When Kyle was very young, early on, he was a very happy kid. He played, very easily. We started to notice things about him. He really didn't have a lot of language. He didn't have a lot to say, although he laughed a lot and seemed to be, easy to entertain.
Like when he was about 2 years old, I would push him around the neighborhood in the stroller, just like, we always, Jennifer and I would take turns, and I'd sing Nowhere Man, he's a real nowhere man. Because he would just sort of be happy to just stare off and wasn't particularly affectionate, but we didn't notice any real issue. It's just that he wasn't as emotive as the other kids were.
He really never asked for anything. He never told us he was hungry or thirsty. So I would just set some things down in front of him, and then all of a sudden he would see it and he would just eat it. And sometimes he would wolf things down so fast that you were like, wow, he was really hungry. I had no idea he was so hungry. And then, of course, I'm thinking, oh no, as a mom, I really should be more in touch with Kyle and where is he? And you sort of just had to figure it out.
That started to appear a bit more unusual as he got to be 3. It wasn't yet potty training. He now started to not hug us back when we hugged him, look away when we looked at him, and those kinds of things.
That's where we saw him move into a lot of spinning, a lot of playing in our couch.
Sometimes he would just flip this stick real quick, and you thought, well, that's what a kid would do. But then it'd be a half hour of running around, and then when you'd go to talk to him, instead of giving you eye contact and stopping to say, sure, Dad, I'll, come to dinner, it would be like, whoop, and off he'd go.
The minute he would wake up in the morning, he would run downstairs, he would dive under the cushions, get himself all situated down in there. And I'd have to dig around and find him to pull him out for breakfast or get him dressed to take him somewhere.
When I try to play with him, he's sort of just not really, he didn't really know how. It wasn't easy to play with him. He just wouldn't break out of his little world.
It was pretty difficult. I come home from work some days, and it was clear that having 3 children at home, one who followed no normal pattern of behavior, was more than a single person was going to be able to handle very effectively. And Jennifer was, at her wit's end as to what to do. I didn't know whether to blame myself or blame her or throw my hands up.
I felt sort of bad for Kyle in a way because I had so many friends and I was always doing something, and he didn't really want to socialize with anybody, and I just knew what he was missing out on.
As Kyle's mom, I think the thing that was hardest for me was feeling that I had done something wrong. That I wasn't loving him enough. That somehow I caused this whole thing to happen.
We first found out about Sunrise when, it was serendipity. Jennifer and I had gone to my parents' house for a holiday party, and she met a gal who was dating my cousin at the time, who'd had a daughter who had unusual behavior.
She had just returned from the Option Institute, and she was going to start a program called Sunrise for her daughter, who was diagnosed with many different kinds of special needs.
And that was the first time we ever understood about even the very idea of autism.
I had gotten the book Sunrise, the Miracle Continues, and I read parts of the book. I read through some of the book, and then I read through some of the training manual. And I said to Jeff, I really think he's autistic. I think he fits into this book.
I had the opportunity to travel with Kyle to Germany with my father. We were going back to the familial home of the Westphal family. And Kyle behaved classically the entire time. And it was the most time I'd spent with him one-on-one ever. And I watched him during the day, and then at night I'd be reading this book. And I could see the principles, I could see the issues raised in the book right there in front of me every day.
We called the Institute the next day, and we got ourselves scheduled for a startup program.
The Sunrise program is a home-based, child-centered, parent-directed approach for autism and developmental delays. they come to a program called the Sunrise Startup, which is a 1-week, 5-day seminar. And in the seminar, they're taught all the things you need to learn to go home and really begin the programs.
Reading the book, talking to them on the phone, nothing even approaches a week of intensive experience with your wife and 40 other parents of children of varying degrees of the autistic spectrum, talking about your experiences and what it would be like to conduct a program in your own home and take charge of your own program for your son.
While they're not experts on the Sunrise program, they are experts on their child. And so our role is to give them the tools so they can take their expertise and apply it.
I felt really connected. It was really exciting to be with these people. It was also amazingly emotional. The first hour is just this incredible unleashing of feelings and letting go of lots of anger and frustration and feeling like you had finally come together to the right place.
You don't feel like you're at fault. You don't feel alone. You know there's hope. And you learn that it ultimately doesn't matter how your son or daughter turns out, because their behavior is not important as what's going on inside for them and for your family. And you learn to be okay with all of that.
We came back ready to run our program, ready to get our people set up, ready to build our room, and really excited that we had a process that we could use to connect with our son.
Generally with autism, children are very much overstimulated by the environment around them. There are so many voices, colors, sounds. Just walking outside, which to us feels like a very normal and easy experience, there's sort of this onslaught of color and sound. The leaves are moving, dogs are barking, cars are driving by, children are screaming, but you may not understand all that if you're autistic. All you know is there's so many things to take in, and you can't necessarily process it all.
Oh, we've got our colors on. Everything looks red out in space.
The playroom is a Sunrise-developed space, a place that is very quiet, so there's no distractions. You don't put up posters or any colorful things on the walls.
The playroom is set up as a safe environment and as an environment that has every single thing the child hopefully would want. So that way there's no need to say no and there's no need to stop anything. So instead of having this no experience all the time, there's this environment of yes for the child.
He loved his playroom. It was his spot. He was in that playroom from the minute he woke up until the minute he went to bed for 7 straight months.
In my playroom in my old house, there was toys, games, books, art stuff. Even though I slept with Jake in another room, this was just my room, my special room.
Well, joining with Kyle early on was like joining with most kids who are autistic and you're in the Sunrise program. It is a very new experience for most adults to sit and do the same thing, sinking the Titanic over and over again with whatever thing you could get, you know?
Because the whole point of when we first started being in the room was just to join and join and join and really get connected with him in his world.
But one of the things you learn is, go ahead and just have fun with that. You're going to be here for an hour anyway. Why not have fun doing that?
Ashes, ashes, we all fall.
And you sort of move yourself into this really great place. And then you start to get a sense of how really great the place is that he's in. He's not miserable. He's okay.
Yeah. Twirl in the back, twirl in the back, twirl in the front.
Through the Sunrise program, we call repetitious behaviors isms, or self-stimulating behavior, something that would be repetitious over and over again. And somehow Kyle might have been getting some gain from it, and we would originally join him in that, and then we would build on it, and then eventually challenge through it to help create something new from it.
You're trying to do something more for the long term than the short term. Although usually in the very beginning there is almost an immediate response from the child because they're so surprised because no one ever joins them. This is what's considered the deviant behavior usually by all the adults around them, and suddenly someone who cares for them very much is doing this behavior with them.
She's sleeping when she's walking.
She sleeps when she walks. Look at how you're looking at me.
Whoa.
When you start seeing progress in the program, and you've been through joining, so there's a bond created with, in this case, Kyle, then you build on that by inviting the child into more challenging activities.
The pictures of the cars.
She does. Can I tell you something? I love when you look at me. I love those brown eyes of yours.
For example, if you can join a child and play their spinning game for a while, and then they look at you and you go, hey, thanks for looking at me, and you get eye contact, then the next thing in terms of challenging them would be to say, Kyle, would you look at me for a second? Then if you get eye contact, that's an actual higher level of thing, because he didn't just give it to you sort of voluntarily, he gave it to you upon request. And we carefully charted all these steps every day, 10 hours a day.
Hi. That was nice that you looked at me. That was very sweet.
You don't do it to get the child to stop whatever they're doing and look at you. You join so that way you build a deeper relationship and rapport over a period of time so that interacting with you and every other facilitator and human being becomes significantly more attractive for the child.
Pink? How do you make pink? Tell me. How do you
Red and white.
What? You are so correct. That's right. Hey, I know how to make purple. Do you know how?
Blue and red.
Oh my gosh.
I would always say, I love you, Kyle, and never expect a response. And one time I said, I love you, Kyle. And he says, I love you too, Dad. And I didn't expect that. And you could have stopped the program right there. We had a long ways to go from there, but that was pretty much worth it.
It was one of the first times that we were playing together, and we had our blankets and our sticks, and we had started to build a little game. And he was really into this game. For that, he hit me by accident with his stick. And it was one of the first times that he came over and said, oh, Mommy, okay? You okay? And I think up until that point, I believed my son didn't have a conscience, didn't care about other people. So it was one of those moments where you have to just say, I'll be right back, Kyle, because you gotta appreciate. You take a moment to appreciate how wonderful that is, that your son has actually touched you and he was concerned and caring about that he might have hurt you.
We find that the more total the immersion, the better. So because your wife and yourself and you have other children and work, you can't be in a room with your son 100 hours a week or 50 hours a week yourselves. You're going to recruit staff who you're going to train on how to play with your child in a very developmental, loving way.
I remember when we first started, we had, I think, 15 volunteers, which was fabulous. There were tons of people coming in throughout the day for 50, 55, 60 hours a week, interacting with Kyle one-on-one.
We really came together as a family to run this program. And we also had all these great people coming into our house every day who not only were going into the room with Kyle, but they would come in and say hi to Annie, and they would say hi to Jake.
Well, it was pretty cool getting to meet all the people who worked with Kyle in his room because they were really nice. Lindsay would come over early and hang out with me and Jake and stay late. She was just a friend, she became a friend of the family.
When we were playing dodgeball with our friends, we'd run, be like, get in the room, and we'd run and hide in the room.
Kyle built a little community around himself. It's pretty neat.
I think in large part they helped out because they really thought they could make a difference in a little boy's life. I call them Kyle's angels.
It's not unusual for a child in the Sunrise program, when they're nearing the end of their program, meaning they're able to really interact strongly and have a lot of the social and practical skills that they need to do really well in the world, for a child to start to verbalize their desire to be done with the program.
He got this in his head probably 2/3 of the way through the program, that he wanted to be done. He wanted to graduate from his Sunrise program.
At my graduation, a lot of people who worked with me were there.
So we had a ceremony up at the Option Institute. Kyle has a mortarboard and a big, sign. Jennifer was fine. I sobbed for an hour.
I made a speech, and I can't really remember, but I remember it was a good speech, and everyone liked it.
I think the opening line to his speech was that there was an old Chinese proverb that says, fall down 7 times, get up 8. And what a beautiful way to look at Kyle and what he's accomplished.
Whoa, hey, thanks. I had never had one of these before. Wow.
It's incredible to watch him come from that place where he was so alone, so much of the time anyway, to being really fully in this world and where he can do whatever he wants to do in the world.
He knew it was towards the end of the program, and he would start to talk to me about missing me. And here I go. From a child who had the hardest time connecting with anyone, let alone himself. His personality hadn't even emerged when I first met him, to someone who said, Linz, I'm going to really miss you. And certainly I was going to miss him.
I think Kyle has changed the most in his ability to make friends, and he's very outgoing now. He's one of the most comfortable kids I know. Like, the other day, he wore his Admiral's hat with a quill pen sticking out of it to OC, which was crazy. I thought it was so cool.
Here's a kid who probably, where he was when we entered the program, he might not have needed institutionalization, but he wouldn't have been able to hold down employment of any meaningful sort, and he certainly wouldn't have been able to have meaningful relationships. And now this is a young person who's going to have loves and heartbreaks and good jobs and bad jobs and all the ups and downs of life that we all have.
I think looking back, the thing that's most important is that we have a relationship with our child. We have a deep, meaningful relationship. He's going to be okay. He's going to have relationships in his life. He's going to be able to take care of himself. And we are going to get to enjoy that.
Autism is just something that happens. You can't really control it, but you can just deal with it. Because once you deal with it, it's just like, it seems normal. And once you deal with it, it just seems to float away from you. Like an island breaking. Like a part of the land breaking from another part.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I watch them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I I see skies of blue, clouds of white, a bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by.
Here she is, Miss Jade. She came to us in 1995 when we adopted her.
That's her with her daddy, because she was the daddy's girl, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was beautiful.
And then she just started sort of fading away from us.
Jade!
She'd get that glazed look in her
Say
eye.
hi, Jade!
You'd call her name and she wouldn't answer you. If you touched her, she'd move away. Couldn't touch my own child. And she lost her potty training skills, and she just kind of got lost. And yeah,
she'd just get absorbed.
She stopped smiling and laughing. Then when we thought of our experience at the Autism Treatment Center teaching parents with autistic children, and you know, autism has a spectrum from severe to mild, and it was clear that she was on that spectrum and she had autistic tendencies. So we immediately decided, of course, that we were going to run a Sunrise program and help her.
She'll seek you out.
We got a group of volunteers to help us. We created a specially designed playroom for her, and we worked with her 40 hours a week. And we really stayed only in that room with her because she couldn't go anywhere else. She couldn't go to the park. She couldn't go to a restaurant because she would be completely overwhelmed and it would be totally overstimulating for her.
Rolling paper, day in and day out. She'd do it for hours and hours in a day. And the way that we entered her world was by joining her, doing the same thing as she was doing.
On Monday the 6th, she ismed for approximately 5.5 hours.
She'd roll with anything. Here she is, she's rolling with a dollar bill.
On the 11th, an hour and 10 minutes.
And drawing. Drawing was another activity she'd do over and over again.
On the 14th, an hour and 10. And then 2.5 hours on the 16th. Another 3 hours. And then on the 18th.
Like a cuddle? put a piece in there? I don't understand, baby. Here, if you want. Would you like this piece in there? No, okay. Would you like this piece in here? There's some big tears coming down. Oh, no, like that one? Let me get a wipe for you. I'm going to wipe your nose, okay? Hold on. Yeah. Hold on. You got big tears coming down. Okay. How can I help you? What? Would you like this out? No. Would you like a piece in there?
No.
Okay, because I'm not clear what you want. Do you want me to put the green in there?
No.
The small yellow one in there? Okay. I don't know what you want.
Tell her that she can pull out tonight.
And there were moments, there was these beautiful moments when she would open the door to her world and see us.
And want something.
Yeah.
Like her even wanting your pencil.
And a big C. That's good. That C is just back to front here. Do it the other way. That was a really good try, baby. Oh, that was...
And after about 1.5 years into running our program with Jade, she started to relate and look at us and play with us for periods of time.
What's that? Here, I'll show you. Look, do you want me to show you? Give me that. Here, here's the letter C. Like that. Here, you do one. Come on then. That's a number 3, Zoe. Come on, a number, do a C. Yay! That's very good.
So say after me. Spishy, splashy, spot. Spishy, spot. Oh, you were so good. But listen carefully. 3 sounds. Ready? Splishy, splashy, spot. Splishy, spot. Splash. Oh, yes! So close. You're doing so good now. Yes. Okay, now you say after me. Ready? Here we go. Splishy. Splashy. Splot. Splot. That's it. Now try it on your own. All together. Splishy, splashy, splot. You try.
teach him how to have a little conversation. These opportunities that we had where she was really available to us and looking at us and interacting with us meant so much. They were such highlights, and we were so joyous.
What's your little brother?
My brother? I have a brother.
It was beautiful to see her personality coming out and sharing it.
Oh, that was good. Land is my land. Oh, wait, this is the one we saw before. We heard before.
Welcome to the official ending of Jada Dina Hogan's Sunrise.
Yay! Jade!
That was awesome!
JD!
You wanna wave? Hi.
Mama, here's the phone number of Chad. Malik has boy Barbies too.
Now, she's just talking to a
What?
friend on the phone.
I know. Mike has some Barbies in his room too. Yeah. Wow. You have a little sister? Mom, it was my old dolly I had and the music thing got lost and the little heart thing went broken and I lost the little stroller and the battery and the other battery broke. Now I just have the dolly and her gloves. And that's it. Mama, I have to put the message.
Okay.
A birthday party.
Okay, so it's a little kid reading a book. She wouldn't even look at a book if you handed it to her. She wouldn't even notice you were handing her a book. You couldn't teach her anything because she wouldn't pay any attention to you. She was so encapsulated, so unavailable. Look at her. She's just reading a book.
Plates. Mom got a cake. Happy birthday to you.
The thing you have to understand about this is we had never, ever gone on a trip together as a family. Jade could barely leave our house for years, so this trip was this huge, unbelievable experience for us that she wasn't screaming at the sounds here and that she was enjoying it. It's like we could bring her to the world and she could participate and love it. That's her best volunteer, her brother.
Her brother, right.
Now we just moochy.
There's 150 students and teachers. She's performing on a stage at the talent show. This is a child who would start crying if two people spoke at the same time in a room, who was so overwhelmed by everything. JD, okay? Yeah? Look at Mama. Let me see your face. You all right? And then we had a party at the end of our program with all the people who had helped us, and we all wrote letters to Jade and shared them.
I am writing to you today. I am 29 years old.
In all of those years, the best thing I have ever done was play with you. I have traveled all over the world, on planes and in cars. I have lived in big cities and in small little towns. I have spoken in other languages and eaten all types of food. I have climbed mountains and I have jumped off big rocks into water. And as I think about all these things and more, I look back on the time that you and I had in our room, in our world, and I know, without a doubt, that was the best time I ever spent.
Being in the playroom with you these last 5 years has been the best thing that I've ever done. Helped me to push through walls I may not have if it had not been for your joyful, loving look and your sweet innocence. To be kind to myself and then to others. In the playroom with you, you taught me to feel good. And I found a peaceful place within myself where I am good. Where nothing else mattered but you and me.
Every week for 4 years I came to your house to play with you, and being your friend changed my life. I've learned things from you, blessed lessons that I am so grateful for. The first thing that comes to mind is the way you saw your world, how you saw things through a different lens, a lens in which beauty was simple and easy to find. We watched the dust in the air as the sun came into your room one morning, and I learned that there was always time to see something beautiful. I also learned from you something about loving a friend and loving myself. Because with you, Jada Dina, sometimes I walked into your room and you didn't pause from your drawing, or you didn't look up from your tea set. But I didn't know if you loved me, or if it mattered that I played with you each week. But I came to learn that it did, that as I delighted in you, and when I deeply cared for you, that mattered.
You showed me something I had never in my life experienced. What it feels like to love a person and truly require nothing in return. You've been so brave, my darling. You stepped out of a pristine and precious world and you came to me. Thank you. I would have loved you any way you were. And I did. And that's the beauty of it. I already thought you were the best thing that ever happened to me. And then you gave me more. So you hugged me and you ran to my arms. And you stroked my face and danced with me. Years from now, someone will say to you, as they did to Uncle Ron, aren't you so grateful for what your parents did? And on that day, remember what my parents said and what I say to you today. It was It was all for me. I'm the one who is grateful. I'm the one who is given the gift.
You were my strength when I was weak. You were my voice when I couldn't speak. You were my eyes when I couldn't see. You saw the best there was in me. Lifted me up when I couldn't reach. You gave me faith 'cause you believe I'm everything I am because you were my eyes when I couldn't see. You saw the best there was in me, lifted me up when I couldn't reach. You gave me faith 'cause you believed I'm everything I am because you loved me. You were always there for me, the tender wind that carried me, light in the dark, shining your love into my life. You've been my inspiration through the lies you weren't true. My world is a better place because of you.
This is what the world is like for 5-year-old Jordan. He can't make sense of what he sees or hears or feels in his body. All his experiences are a meaningless jumble. No wonder he wants to shut out everything and everybody. Jordan is having a tantrum because his Thomas the Tank Engine video has been stopped. He has regular screaming fits. It's the only way he can communicate.
If he could only put his message across to us. At the moment, we know why he's crying, but very often he reacts in the same way, and we don't know what he wants. He could go on like this for 10 minutes or 2 hours. It's really distressing.
Things just aren't going Jordan's way at the moment. His little routine's just been broke up for a while. There's no Thomas, there's no cartoons, and he's totally upset. I think at the moment we have to live by Jordan's rules, because he'd end up going insane, wouldn't we?
Up until the age of about 18 months, Jordan seemed really just like any other normal boy. He was doing the right things at the right times. He walked at 11 months. He was really, really ahead at some stages. And then when he was about 18 months old, he began to cut himself off from everything and everybody. He withdrew into his own little world. He wasn't bothered if we were there or not. He didn't seem to need us.
We was told to consider autism. I felt quite guilty because I'd never heard of autism at the time. And when we read up on autism, it was literally like reading about Jordan. It was like a life story. And it was very upsetting. It really destroyed Jackie and I. And we could not believe Jordan was autistic.
Autism is a biological brain disorder which experts say is irreversible. Because Jordan is autistic, he can't communicate with others. He has no social skills and no imagination. His brain can't process the information constantly coming at him, and so Jordan is unable to make sense of the world around him. He's only happy when everything stays the same. That's why he loves his Thomas the Tank Engine video, because it never changes.
Oh, sure.
He's got no sense of danger at all. He would climb out of windows. If the gas flames are on in the kitchen, he spits at them and he puts his hand in the flame. He's been known to eat ornaments, everyday objects that people wouldn't consider a danger. He can bite them up until he can choke on them. So things that we wouldn't class as a danger object do become a danger. He only likes 4 hours sleep, so he's really on the go all the while. So even in the night, we're sharing out the responsibilities, the duties, like, you know. We sort of pass on the landing. Hello, right, Jack. He decides not to drink for days. Now, we know he must be thirsty, but he just decides not to drink.
Everyday routines, what a normal family do, I took for granted. The simplest of things, from early morning till bedtime, are so difficult. In the morning, getting dressed is so difficult. Where I think a lot of families, it would just be, there's your breakfast, there's your clothes, can you get yourself dressed? It's such a strain, it's such an effort. It just doesn't happen.
No.
Jordan's hearing is very sensitive. Lawnmowers, drills, the same with the washing machine, he'll keep turning it off. He can't cope with that sound. He would just sit in the corner, put his fingers in his ears and continuously scream. Yet we still need to get on with our daily chores. When we're out, we've only got to hit a different patch of tarmac on the road and he will scream out because the different sounds on the road completely upsets him.
Peter and Jackie have 2 other children, Jamie, who's 11, and 6-year-old Charlotte. But when they're out as a family, it's Jordan that gets all the attention. As he's bombarded with a mishmash of new sights and sounds at every step, his behaviour becomes progressively worse because he can't make sense of anything.
Shopping, that's very difficult. The slightest thing out of place, and we don't know what it is, he screams and kicks, and I have to hold on to him with all my might. I can't handle him really alone. It just ends up usually in tears going out with him.
It turns a very simple shopping trip into hell. He splits the family in half because we can't do anything as a whole. Either myself will stop with Jordan while Jackie takes the kids out, or vice versa. It's the one thing we do miss, going out as a family. And when we do, there are times when we do need all to go out together. Jordan just cannot cope with the situation he's in at that time. He lives in a locked world. It's a mysterious world, I think. It's heartbreaking world. I think it's just a devastating world he lives in. I think it must be so lonely for him, not able to communicate. It must be frightening. It must be just the worst. It's just so scary for him, for a little boy to be sort of locked away.
We've been advised to consider residential schooling for Jordan. We've been told that it's the consistency he needs.
Peter and Jackie were also told that Jordan was unlikely to improve. They didn't want to believe that, and they didn't want to send him away either. So they started looking for a way of treating Jordan at home. They heard of a unique therapy available in the United States at the Option Institute.
When we hunted around Britain, finding where Jordan might be attend, and realised there wasn't no sort of special units in the UK, we looked abroad, and when we found out about the option, we knew then this was right for Jordan, and we took it from there, started fundraising, and we're due to go in August.
There was a tremendous local response. In 2 years, Peter and Jackie managed to raise £17,000 to pay for a 2-week trip to the States and for a special playroom for Jordan. When they get back, Jordan will spend most of his waking hours in this porter cabin, being played with by his parents and selected volunteers. Peter's taken some time off from his job on the production line at the Land Rover car plant to get the room ready, with help from his brothers. He and Jackie have been advised against the options method and steered towards residential care.
We've been told that it'd be much better for us to follow that path than to cut him off from the rest of the world in the playroom. We don't see it like that. He only learns when he's happy. Mainly, he's only happy when he's around us. And this one-to-one method just seemed appropriate for Jordan. It got everything we needed, one-to-one with us all day, no other distractions, and we felt that was right for Jordan.
This is the start. This is where we're going to get the painting done now. As soon as the floor's swept, all the junk out, and start painting the walls. And the playroom seems to have something about it. I love it. I really love this playroom.
A lot of people have told us that we've been given false hopes. Jordan's always going to be like that. We're told time and time again it's a lifelong mental handicap and you're not going to change him.
I can really see this. He loves this. He's took to this.
We're not looking to change him. If Jordan is just happy and we can live with him as a person, that will be our miracle.
Finally, the day they've been waiting for 2 years has arrived. Jackie, Peter and Jordan are off to the Option Institute in Sheffield, Massachusetts for 2 weeks of intensive therapy. Their expectations are high.
I'm sure somewhere there's a key to Jordan's world. I know it's in there somewhere, but it's just getting the right method to get it out. And I want him to be with us. I want to be able to love him and kiss him and play with him just like you would take for granted if your child was normal.
I would love Jordan to know who I am. I would love Jordan to call me Daddy. I would love Jordan to be able to walk hand in hand all the time, not just for a few minutes. Just very simple things I would love Jordan to do. And I hope the Option can do this for us.
What is the dark shadows around you? Why not take heart in the new day? Ever and always, always and ever. No one can promise a dream for you. Time gave both darkness and dreams to
The Option Institute was started by the parents of an autistic boy who developed a unique approach to autism through working with their son. His condition was far worse than Jordan's.
When Ron was about 18 months old, we discovered that he was considered autistic, under 30 IQ, and we were told that he was hopeless and that to forget that we ever had him. And in fact, why don't we consider putting him into an institution?
One of the physicians, I guess, trying to be sensitive and caring, leaned over and he put his hand on my shoulder and he shook his head and he said, "Severely autistic, mentally retarded. I'm very sorry. It's really terrible." And I remember thinking, wait a minute, this is my amazing son. And so what I wanted to make up was wonderful, special, an opportunity. Some people think what we did was imitate Ron. We didn't imitate Ron. We actually valued Ron as our teacher and literally joined him in his world. And little by little, that little boy slowly let us in.
This child went from having absolutely no connection with anybody to a very outgoing, very talkative, very gregarious, considered to have a near genius IQ, and at this point he's graduated from a top university. There are no signs about Ron where you would have any idea of his past.
The playroom is central to Option's approach.
We arrived last night. We're really nervous, excited at the same time about what's going to happen and what's going to determine the rest of his life, what we do here. So it's probably the most exciting day of our life.
Hi, where is everybody?
The playroom is quiet and safe. The walls are plain and only one person's allowed in at a time, so Jordan's senses will not get overloaded. By introducing him to one thing at a time, he will slowly take things in so that he can piece the world together bit by bit. The principles are simple, but putting them into practice will be hard work for all of them. It's important that Jordan goes into the playroom of his own accord before the door is shut and locked. It took over an hour to coax him in.
Here. Hey, Jordan. Where's the... Oh my gosh. Little Red Riding Hood is going to see her grandmother. No, it's...
We're going to talk about your attitude, your feelings, your thoughts, your experience. So much more than probably anyone who's ever talked with you about Jordan has, and probably more than anyone ever has in your whole life. Because we don't believe in taking Jordan in a vacuum, like just taking him and applying things to him and then giving him back to you. When a child's autistic, he finds being with himself more enjoyable than being around people. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to metaphorically build a bridge. And rather than saying to him, your world is bad, our world is good, what we're saying is, I just want to be close to you. If a child feels really accepted and sees by our actions that it's totally okay what they're doing, then that tends to foster more rapport and more relationship. So you might see that if he spit, our staff might spit a little bit too. You might see that if he was biting on his hand, that we might bite on our hand a little bit too. When a child looks up and sees another person for the first time in their lives, joining them in what they like to do instead of stopping them, it's almost like you can watch their faces. They have this surprised look, as if they're thinking, I'm not alone, right? There's somebody else that likes to do what I like to do. What are you feeling, Jay?
It made me, I think that just made me realise, really, the children's probably quite lonely. We're over here and he's got to be on his own, doing his own thing, and like, nothing makes us happier than somebody joining in our fun. We're not joining in his fun.
The thing that makes an autistic child so fascinating is that they are not inside their world screaming to be let out. You understand that he is totally okay where he is.
Mommy's gonna come see you soon.
Before we go on, because I know you wanted to look, you want to go take a peek to see what he's up to? But remember, we gotta be quiet so that we don't interrupt.
Peter and Jackie are guided through sessions with Jordan by a team of facilitators. They've already helped over 1,000 families.
Essentially, Karen is balancing back and forth between joining him, doing what he's doing, and requesting. Okay?
The key to Karen's play is to join Jordan and enjoy doing what he's doing. Once Jordan realizes he's accepted as he is, and in control, he can slowly reach out. It's in these moments that Karen starts a game between them, gradually building up his contact with her.
Here comes the hedgehog. Oh, the hedgehog's very excited. He's putting on his shorts. You did such a great job. Now you're wearing a little skirt. That's very interesting.
Notice that instead of saying, no, that's wrong, or you did it wrong, she's praising him at the same time as helping him to learn how to do it right.
Here, everyone's aim is to make Jordan feel accepted. Karen never criticizes him, but highlights the things he does well, particularly those he normally finds difficult.
Oh my gosh, you look so smart! The hedgehog's all excited! Yay, Jordan!
She encourages eye contact at every opportunity.
Oh, that's a great love.
I don't know if you noticed, I certainly saw that he was really looking at Karen quite a bit.
Yeah,
quite a
eye
bit.
contact there.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Is that more than usual for a first-time encounter with someone? And
More than usual for any time.
really?
That was excellent.
Yeah, every now and again he'll give you a brief glance, but it's like just a fleeting second and he's gone again.
At the beginning of this week, you could really spend time being observers. Learn more about his world, as opposed to thinking we've got to change it right away. Part of your experience here is in learning about him and not just in changing him.
It's a real eye-opener to see just what different ideas can do for him, because I've never seen him play like that. Makes that kind of play look really boring.
Makes your play look boring?
Really boring.
That's what we thought we was doing quite good.
Come on, Jordan, let's go on the slide. Whee!
If you're basing your own good feelings on him playing with you, it might be a long time coming, right? So now we're going to switch it. As you know, it's a child-centered program, which really means this is the time to let him be the leader for a while. It's actually a lot less work than you think it is because he's leading the way.
For Jackie, following your child isn't as easy as it sounds, and she's finding it hard to make play exciting. She and Peter live in fear of the scenes that ensue when they have to leave the playroom. Jordan's never been left with strangers before.
When he goes, then you want to keep going that way.
Peter is also finding it hard to let go.
Well, maybe next time what you could say to him is say, look, I'm just going to leave right now. And this is the first step, is to let go of you and then to absorb the first person. All right? What do you think? What are you thinking? You're nodding your head.
I just don't want to see him upset. I don't want to see him cry.
Okay, but here's the thing, Peter. It is okay that he cries. If he's choosing to cry, it really is okay, you know, because you know he will move through it and then be more open then to people coming in on a transition, okay? But here, let me give you some feedback in terms of your session. If it's difficult for him to look at me, I want to make it easy for him to look at me. So sometimes I might flip down onto my back.
Yeah. Hello.
It's the way he connects with you. Like they say, the eyes are the windows to the soul. And in a way, you want to have that as a basis.
He's gonna go for a splash.
Peter and Jackie's sessions aren't just about how to be with Jordan. They also help to uncover and come to terms with their most troubled feelings about Jordan.
So you know that you can use this time to talk about anything at all that you'd like. That's a challenge or that's difficult for you, and then I'll just ask you questions to see if I can help you.
I can see like two people. I can see Jordan and I can see an autistic child. And situations like at the airport, who's very distressed, and there's this autistic child on the floor. I want to take it off him. I want to take that autism off him. I wish I could take his place.
Okay.
And I'd just love to swap with him for one day, so he can realise how much fun we can have and what enjoyment we can have.
Okay.
And I'd like to go into his world for one day to see the world from his eyes.
Okay.
And, you know.
Okay.
I miss Jordan, I think. I don't know, I miss him when he has a fit, when he's rolling around. I miss him, you know.
How are you feeling?
Sorry, Alan. Sorry.
Tissues.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
You know, I just want me boy, you know.
Okay.
That's all I want.
Okay. And who is your boy?
Jordan. Jordan's my boy.
Who is Jordan?
He's a lovely little boy. He doesn't deserve to be looked at. He doesn't deserve to be judged. You know, he should be accepted.
Okay.
I wish if he could be accepted.
Okay.
You know. So, sorry, William, could you say that again? I'm sorry.
In some way, the world isn't going to be changed overnight.
No.
You know, and then it's learning to not try and change the world,
Yeah.
but maybe to start changing how you react and how you respond. So,
For the first time in 5 years, someone really understood what I was talking about with Jordan and understand how I felt. I felt so relieved that someone never pitied me. That someone understood.
Yeah,
what
it's
we
like
were
a
saying.
relief.
And it's took this long. It's took us to come to America for someone to understand. It's such a wonderful feeling, that is.
Jordan wants his mum, and it's Jackie's turn next in the playroom. She's already anxious about having to leave him a second time this morning. If all three of them can't get past this obstacle, then the programme will be severely jeopardised.
Let me get through this.
I'm going to go away for a while. You can stay with Jonathan and you can have a really lovely time. You can have a lovely play.
I just want him to be happy all the time, and I can't bear to think of him sad or upset.
So if you get upset about him not being happy or looking happy at the time, how is that going to help him be happy?
Yeah, I can see what you mean. So I've got to start with me before I can let it
Yeah,
come to him.
definitely. When you think about him being in your life at this point, do you believe that there's a purpose in that?
I often feel like he was given to us because we would do something about it. We would help him.
Uh-huh. Do you want to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. Could you imagine that Jordan not getting every little thing that he wants when he wants it is for his own benefit, his own challenge, his own good?
No, it's not really doing him any favours.
Okay. The more you let go and say, okay, I want to help him. Would like to help him feel comfortable with me leaving the room. That's essentially what you would like with this incident, right?
Yeah.
So then the question is, okay, how would I accomplish that? If I am scared of his crying.
And see, all this yelling and throwing your body around does not work to move me. You see that?
You can pick up everything. There's no hiding anything from him.
You want the letters, you gotta tell me.
Jordan has always got what he wants by screaming, but now he is having to learn how to ask.
King Conroe. Here he is, the king! Yay! That is so great how you're telling me what you want.
You're used to thinking of him as, first of all, this poor soul, which he is not a poor soul. And I think that actually you're going to be quite surprised at how intelligent this child really is.
Okay, so long, Mommy. Let's take a look here, eh?
I'll be back. You want to have a kiss? Is that what you want?
Oh, there you go. That's so sweet.
That's lovely. Thank you, Jordan.
Now they've got over the hurdle of leaving Jordan, the focus shifts to learning how to play with him effectively.
The rabbit. Here we go. And then we are.
Peter enthusiastically throws himself into the playroom. But Jackie's more self-conscious and often at a loss.
What are you looking at, Jordan?
It's been so long that I played with the kids because at home, if we've got a few minutes, I'll go and make them something to eat. I'll clean up after that. And Peter said, well, I'll play with them while you do that.
Yeah.
And I've really got out of the hang of it. And I sometimes think, I don't know what to do here.
The key to being creative is adding one thing to what you're already doing.
Yeah.
I just think of one little thing I could do with this. Anything I want. So I could say, it's a toothbrush. Right? I can just pretend, if I want, that it's anything. Right? What happens is when we see this, we think water bottle.
It just goes to show how bad I am.
What?
I was just thinking you could drink it.
Yeah, well, there you go.
That's
That's
what
what
that was. Get a glass.
Yeah. What could you pretend it was? Right, don't rush yourself. Just look at it. Like, pick it up and look at it and move it around and see if something comes to you.
Yeah. I suppose you could do anything. Yeah, like you pretend it's a hairbrush.
There you go.
Or an ice cream.
Yeah.
Anything.
Yeah.
Really.
All right, so you say it's a hairbrush and an ice cream, and I say it's an earring. All right, so then you make it something. Doesn't matter, anything in the whole world.
Trying to think. Yeah, I suppose it could be like a recorder.
Yeah.
Or a saw.
Yeah, there you go. All right, see, now we could just create a whole world with a tape recorder, a glass, a pen, and a bottle, right? And that's how children play.
Yeah, I'm remembering games now, like from when I was little.
He's looking for food.
Red Riding Hood.
Oh, little Red Riding Hood. And this is the wolf. And your little Red Riding Hood. That's a good idea.
It's not just a good idea, it's an incredible leap in his development. Autistic children have no imagination. They can only think literally. So the fact that Jordan is inventing a game is real progress. It seems to have been prompted by Jackie's newfound ability to play creatively.
I bet you're pleased to see that.
Hello? Oh,
Now it's Peter's turn to get some feedback.
monster! Ah, it's the monster! That's a monster! Who's the biggest monster? Was it Daddy?
Okay, so let's say, here you are, you bring up, who's the biggest monster? All right, and then he doesn't respond, but then you give him the answer. You give him about, I don't know, it must be about a second. I mean, from what we're watching. So why?
I didn't realise what I was actually probably doing. I think it's, I don't really know. I don't think I was conscious that I was doing that.
Okay.
I think I was just sort of playing. Who's the monster? I am. Probably going a bit too fast for you.
You are fast. You're fast and loud. Why? Why the speed?
I don't know. Just, I think it might. So we can have a bit more fun. I don't really know. To try and.
Fun and that excitement is loud and big and it's fast and it's boom, boom, boom like this. But it doesn't always have to be that way. You see, it's the dynamic variation of it rather than the fact that I'm talking all loud all the time. And if I'm talking all loud and this is all we talk like, you're soon going to think, boy, this is just like a ticking clock. I want to tune it out. But you can become monotonous and you're not allowing anything that you're creating to go anywhere.
When we get back, initially, people are going to think we're nuts. They're probably going to think like we've turned into sort of a couple of...
I think it's more of an understanding of life. We're just understanding a lot more.
Yeah, but people, will people see it like that? I mean, I know like we've been told like you shouldn't judge people, but it's going to take people time to see that we've got a different approach, really.
Oh, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No. I think I see Jordan in a different light. He's already made vast improvements.
Yeah,
We've only been in 4 days.
I suppose if they look at Jordan and think, well, this must be right.
Oh,
yeah.
No people think we're nuts.
In just 1 week, Jordan can now tolerate the noise of a lawnmower.
He's doing this so well. He's accepted now, he's cutting, and he feels safe. I'm really pleased. I'm really pleased.
Hello. Car, bicycle.
Gorgeous mouth.
Eyes.
Eyes. Ears.
Oh,
The hard work is paying off. For the first time ever, Peter and Jackie are enjoying their son.
That wolf is behind you.
Oh, that big bad wolf's behind you.
Big bad wolf.
Big bad wolf.
It's behind you.
It's behind you.
There it is.
Leg.
Leg, that's right. Yes, your leg. Good boy.
The first week has been a success. But over the weekend, Jordan suddenly becomes worse than he's ever been. Peter and Jackie are upset and concerned.
Right, Saturday, we thought we'd go in for about 3 hours and between us, and we thought that would be enough. And when we came out, he was like really out of control. He was climbing, taking the pictures off the walls, tipping things upside down.
He was
getting his fist and punching us in the face, pulling our hair,
twisting the skin,
squeezing our skin round.
He was the worst we've ever seen him in his life. He was so aggressive and so hyperactive. It was quite frightening to watch.
Okay. It kind of sounds like what you're describing is he is looking for a reaction. He's sort of escalating. We call it button pushing, which is he'll look for the buttons that are on you that might get a reaction. And maybe there's an escalation to say, hey, the ones that were working before aren't working anymore. And let me kind of up them a little bit.
because you're different than you were a week ago, and he's wanting to redefine his boundaries, maybe. It's not something to be concerned about or like, oh my God, what's going on? It's, yeah, we've seen this happen before, all right? See, this is one thing that some people have done. The child's gone to sleep in the playroom, where you can really make it safe.
That night, they tried to get Jordan to sleep in the playroom.
It's a bit bombarding at first. It's so intensive. You get all this information all day, and there is a lot of sitting around, taking a lot in. And then at night time, we've tried to put it into practice, so it has kind of ground us down a bit. I'm looking forward now to going home and putting it into practice.
When we're feeling tired and sort of dragged down, when we go into the playroom with Jordan, he only needs to do one thing, and it gives us that buzz again, doesn't it?
Mm.
Oh, come on then. We're going to be a horse, yes. Horse! Horsey, come on then, horsey, get up. Can we say, on your marks, get set. Go! Yeah! Yeah, good boy! You said go! Is horsey going to make it to the finishing line? You're going to win? Oh, gosh! Hey, horsey! Horsey! Hold tight, poor old horsey. Okay, are we?
In the box. Is it?
Usually just puts in the last word, and I noticed Peter was giving him more and more opportunity to fill in more words, and he said a lot then. That's the longest sequence of words then. He just said 6 words.
You were the horse, and I thought a very good horse at that. I mean, I would put money on you. But only for about 3 furlongs. I think after that you got tired. But so what you do? He wants this game. He wants it over and over and over again. He could do it an hour, 15 minutes, and boom, exhausted. What do you do?
Put him down.
Shoot the horse.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
I suppose if I should have interacted another game with the horse. Yeah. I think what it was, because he was having so much fun, I was trying to keep my energy up because he was laughing and he really showed a lot of contact. I could literally feel his eyes burning into my head.
Yeah.
It's almost like a tug of war, I think, with the autism. Okay. You know, it's I'm having such a good time, but there's still that tug of war, autism's still there. So I want to keep a good tight grip on that rope and keep pulling it and pulling it until
You speak as if there's Jordan, and then you speak as if there's this guy called autism.
Yeah, that's how I see it.
And never the twain shall meet. Okay. Why not?
Because there are times when Jordan's out of it.
Okay.
I mean, with the horse, if I take a breather, and that might just be enough tug for the autism, right, yeah, back over here, back in his letters. If, well, Jordan's gone again now. This autism child's there. To me, I'm winning that battle. I am fighting the autism. You know.
Okay. I think that thinking that way is okay, but also I think it might set you up to not see Jordan when he's autistic. You're attacking a part of who he is, as opposed to accepting it and then working with it. This is Jordan that's autistic. It's not. You can't, in some way, separate the two.
So it's far easier than a struggle to get you over the other side if you're that much closer.
Absolutely.
We're going to have some chucky eggs.
Later, at supper time, Jordan shows just how much he's capable of taking in now.
From beans on toast, isn't it?
Oh, we found a place in the door.
Good boy!
Jordan.
Good boy! Is that...
Look. Look.
Oh, milk in the eggs? That's cool.
Look.
Eggs! Eggs! Oh, do you want me to do it? I don't know how much to put in, Mum.
He's never been able to do anything for himself.
Oh, clever boy. You're going to be a cook. Hey, you're going to be a little cook, you are. Look at that.
Eggs.
You clever boy. You've made your own dinner. What are you going to do?
You're going to put it in the microwave now?
Grab and cook it.
And a door.
You stretched it to see if it's hot enough.
Jordan had never seen a microwave before they came to America.
Jordan! And here comes a bigger flying saucer.
Dad, Mommy. Eggs.
Eggs! Eggs! And here it goes, next to juice. I'll tell you what.
You made your own tea.
You made your own tea tonight.
At the end of the second week, the whole team gets together to talk about Jordan's progress and plan for the future.
His eye contact is so different this week from last week. He looked at me on Monday and Tuesday about 30% of the time, but by yesterday it was up to 50%. I would sit across from him, and he would want me to read the book. But I wouldn't read it. I would tell him, you know, you look in my eyes, and I'll read you the book.
Come on. I'm gonna read. Look in my eyes. You have to look in. Yay!
In the beginning, maybe it took me asking him 3 times to look at me. Midway through, I would ask him once, and he would look at me. And the last time I went through the book, I didn't have to ask. He'd look right up at me.
Nice look!
Because he knew the eye contact is what worked. It was fantastic to see.
That's great. Shall we move on to special changes and new observations, Jonathan?
Okay, here we go. He's saying no a whole lot more. He's asking for his books by name all the time now. He was singing with Karen when she sang instead of pulling her hair. He tried to say yes with Karen. He's initiating much more physical contact with us. He's going to sleep earlier at night.
Oh, yes.
He's taking off his clothes much, much less. And now, of course, putting them on much more. And he didn't do anything to get reactions from the two of you last night. As you said, he was an angel.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh no, an octopus! Oh, and a fish! I didn't realise how much I didn't know about myself. I just go along with my life really busy all the time. It uncovers layers and layers and layers of what you think you know, and you get right down to the bottom, and it does help you sort yourself out as a person, these problems that you've got and what you can do about them. We will put it into practice for the rest of our life now, you know, if we've got a problem. And another thing that spurs us on is he's learning. It doesn't matter how long it takes, but I just know it won't be a lifetime.
I think I'll go back a different person. And when I get back home, the kids will say, Dad, you all right? You feeling okay? You know. But I want to be like that.
And Super Dad wants the ball.
I've learnt a lot more about autism in the last 2 weeks than I have in all the books I've read. And for the first time, I was able to play with Jordan in a way I've never played with him before. I've really learnt when he's I mean, well, I've never really been there with him before. It's so nice to be there. It was a great feeling when he came out of it. I've learnt so much over the last 2 weeks. It's been remarkable.
And now your adventure is going to begin. And I believe that it can be really wonderful for you. I'd love to give you guys hugs, of course.
It's time to go back home, and it'll be up to Jackie and Peter to continue the work that's been started here. Jackie and Peter have moved house, taking the playroom with them.
No, what have we been doing, mister? Daddy. That's right, it's Daddy. When we came back, Jordan started to use the word Dad. It was when he was actually wanting things, and it was quite, is this Jordan saying this? And it was like, dumbstruck, wasn't we? And I just could not believe, you know, that he knew who I was, you know. And it was like, in a way, well worth the wait, just to hear him say, Daddy. So I believe he knows who I am now.
Give me 5.
Give me 5, good boy. Auntie Becky came inside with her arms out.
What?
Why? And one big
Wales.
Jordan started to say or tell us what he loves and who he loves. And then one day he said, I love Mummy. And then he said, I love Daddy. And he reeled off a whole list of everyone in the family. And it was just so special because we didn't really understand before if he got feelings or not, whether, you know, it really meant anything to us, to him that we were here. But that really clinched it for us, you know. He actually said, you know, he can say who he loves and what he loves now.
I find the autistic person in Jordan a very loving person now. I couldn't accept it before. I believed it was like someone inside stopping him advancing. But now I've joined him and I love him for what he is and I accept him. When we take Jordan out now, he will walk with us and he will hold our hands. He still does get distressed at certain things in the street. We try and take him away from that straight away.
Jordan's changed tremendously. He's moved miles. He's got like a confidence in himself, like he can do things now like he'd never done before. Find the mummy. He wouldn't hold a pen in his hand and now he can draw. He'd never danced to music, now he can dance. He can spell, he can read, he can do all sorts of things. Well done.
Should we go pay for the book? Do you want to give the lady the money for the book? Good boy.
I really believe it all comes from this confidence and happiness right deep down.
His social behaviour is excellent.
Yeah, good boy. Well done.
It's nice to see him play with Charlotte and Jamie. Before we went, Charlotte and Jamie didn't know what to do because children couldn't respond to him. It's something we didn't think would ever happen, and that's the biggest joy for me, to watch them play.
Here you are then, kids. Get stuck in.
I used to feel very angry that, you know, why is Jordan autistic? Why is he the way he is? How come that we have got Jordan? Why has this happened to us? And now I feel that that's all gone. I feel like Jordan was given to us because we would do something for him and we could help him. We're so glad that he's ours. We've given him a life where he may not have had one.